Like, do we even need to talk about the new business? What? Do we even need to talk about the new business? I think we pretty much got multiple nails in that.
All right.
We have to wait 7.
No, you're good.
What?
You're good.
We're good?
Do you-
Where are we counting down?
Do you need that? Do you need to go over those slides? Okay. So you don't need the screen?
We have any callers?
Yeah. Dr. Mao.
Dr. Umama. Remo is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's password.
Thank you all for
It's something stupid. Wireless.
This,
There you
it's
go.
right there. It's wireless.
It's wireless. It's really hard.
Thank you all for coming.
A
Sorry about
lowercase.
the tardiness. Dennis, if you're on the line somewhere, my apologies it took so long to get to you. Let's call the meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to review the November minutes? Any corrections or additions to those minutes? If not, a motion to accept? Seconded? All in favor? Thank you. All right, some brief correspondence. Doctors Duthaler, Cohen, and Ushkow are excused. We send our good wishes to Bruce, whose wife is ill. Greenport Rescue Squad sends us information. They have a new ALS coordinator, Greg Fox, who, from what I understand, has been very active and doing some great things down there. Yeah, he's really good. Okay, thank you. For those of you watching on camera that don't recognize the new face, Dr. Nandi is from CMH, where he's the chief, and is very active down in Columbia County. Fantastic addition. Hunter Ambulance has a new administrator, Glenn Morrison, and Albany Fire welcomed E.J. Sini as a new deputy chief, and will also be their core sponsor administrator. Let's start with committee reports. Start with academic committee, Dr. Dornow.
So academic committee basically went over new protocols for norepinephrine and improved them, as well as ketamine. Thanks to the folks that put them together. That was basically it. Wasn't really much else on the agenda.
Great. I will have those now buffed presentations out to everybody shortly. From the REMSCO, the town of Bethlehem Ambulance Service had a municipal certificate of operation that converted to a permanent certificate.
And you knew it in here.
And that really was the only business that was conducted. CMAC and SEMSCO will be meeting in January. We're all thrilled about that. Quality improvement was canceled this month, and there was no HOC meeting in November because everybody was too busy going to meetings without Ebola. No notable agency upgrades. Several public access to fibrillation pieces, including the Office of the Medicaid Inspector General, which I find exciting, that they now have an automatic external fibrillation. New business. There is a position on the regional council to serve as an alternate to me when I cannot be there to be a voting member of that regional council. Dr. Doynow has served as that alternate for several years. However, it also takes place on a Monday night when Dr. Doynow is working at St. Peter's.
And I've never been called.
He's never been called or there. Exactly. So, because of that, we put it out to see if anybody is interested in fulfilling that role.
It's not a lot of work. I
It's, to say the least, there is not a lot of work in taking that slot. Really should see who's.
Cricket.
Okay. Last one to stick their head under the table.
Vote for the new guy.
I thought it went by the who's excused today.
It's actually a really
Bruce
good idea.
volunteer? There you go. Todd.
Should we vote Todd in?
Yeah,
Who's
let's
out?
do
Okay, why don't we leave this as an open agenda item for February and see whether or not, if Dr. Duthaler does not make the February meeting, we nominate him. How's that sound?
And I'll be happy to serve as the alternate.
The alternate.
The alternate.
Thank you. Actually, while we're on that, what we should probably do at the same time is vote to not meet in January as well.
Yes. That sounds all right.
I will make the motion to not meet in
Particular
January.
reason, Mike?
What?
Particular reason?
I'm out of recipes.
We usually don't meet in January.
We usually don't meet in,
Mike's getting you a cookbook
in
for
January in order to give Sarah a month off.
Okay. I'm okay with
That
that.
way
I
she
just
can
was
recover after
wondering
the
about-
holidays and be ready to start again in February.
I'll second the motion.
Excellent. All right, all in favor? Excellent, thank you. The most interesting thing that happened yesterday, and started a firestorm of conversation that most of you have been a part of, was dosing for norepinephrine. We have, by very clear consensus, come to a liter bag for norepi. It will be 4 milligrams in a liter bag. The liter bag will be marked with a orange, or the orange is the best choice, sticker. Tim, we already, while you were out of the room, voted to spend some regional money and print stickers here that will then be distributed to agencies as agencies need them. And what we would like at the same time is that data back here if norepi is used, the cases, so we can review them and see how often we really are using this drug. That way we'll have a consistent sticker to mark the bag.
Should the stickers be followable? Should they be numbered?
So you get a sticker to turn in your information? You get a
Yeah,
But you know, if you put a
Do you
name,
really
if
wanna
you
know,
put
or
a,
do you
please
pick one?
call this number on the sticker and give them a reference number, there's your
Right.
built-in tracking.
Right, you say, okay, we're gonna give colony 1 through 5, we're gonna give 5 through, I mean, I'm just saying, if you really wanna track it, that's.
I
what you
think
do.
if we
You
do
don't care.
that, Adam, what we'll do is we'll change what could really be a 30-cent intervention for really nice laminated plastic stickers and make it very, very expensive to get them sequentially numbered, because you can't just print them in bulk that way. We're probably better off just putting a number that says, if you've used this drug, please call this number, and just put it on a recorded line. It's an extra line. And we'll also do it on Remo ALS.
Next to a STEMI or stroke alert or anything else,
Yeah.
just going on there.
Yeah, do it there as well. We have a couple of different redundancies built into it. Hopefully we'll get notification and find out how often we're using it. Stratton DEA, we got a letter from George June from Catskill that they had a patient that they were on the way to the VA with, and the VA said that they were on the way for diversion and they couldn't take the patient. The patient said, I still want to go to the VA. The VA said, we're still on diversion, we're not going to take the patient. They were concerned that this was a potential EMTALA violation. It's not an EMTALA violation, because the VA doesn't have anything to do with EMTALA.
It is amazing.
It's interesting, the feds are not responsive to their own laws, which is interesting. Right, exactly. So, the patient was delivered to a different medical center. Interestingly, though, there actually were some serious situations there at the time, if this is the same time, I think it was, medically, in terms of their capabilities. So it was exactly the right thing for the patient not to go there. But that was here and reviewed. Something that came from the nurses committee that I wanted to make sure that bring to everybody is, when you're doing signals, and you produced a new signal sheet, I had folks from Med do that, and we should have it out to everybody, and we will resend it as necessary. There is included on that new signal sheet information about last seen normal time and the formal Glasgow, stroke evaluation, because both of those are going to be important for evaluation of stroke center data, because that's all information that ultimately is going to be initially reportable to the state for any stroke center. So that's going to be very important data to be able to drill back on. That's been particularly noted. St. Peter's brought that up, folks from Ellis brought that up, so we need to make sure that that data gets collected. And the other thing that Dr. Bosco and I were just talking about, both come to the same thing, which is data getting from EMS providers back to hospital providers and losing the first chapter of the story. One thing that Dr. Bosco brought up, as with Celeste, the nurse manager from the ED, they actually in medical records were collecting a box of unlabeled EKGs and had a big, beautiful box. And I wish we actually had it here, because it would be a really nice visual. But basically, we need to reissue one more time.
Went out, 2 weeks ago.
Perfect. So we've reissued again to everybody. Please label your electrocardiograms. They need to go into the record. And also a reiteration again that PCRs are required for every patient. And if you're not leaving a PCR at the time of handover, a written documentation of the initial care is required to be given at the time of patient turnover. That is been very clearly written out a bunch of times. We've sent it out again.
Related question. I've had several patients lately brought in to me BLS, where the ALS provider on the scene did a 1280 kg, turned the patient over to BLS, did not send the 1280 kg.
That is a phone call to the medical director of that agency as soon as possible. We'll get you Dr. Rapids phone.
Preferably at 3 a.m.
Lindsay's probably up.
That's what I thought.
He's up doing wedding planning.
Was it an epidemic over in that department?
Wait, I'm confused. I'm confused. A benign EKG? Or
Well, how do I know? I don't have said EKG.
How do we know? We don't know what the EKG
That's the
was.
problem.
And if it's normal then and it's not now, that gives me, that's a lot.
Okay.
I mean, I would hope it's benign because they're turning the patient over to BLS, but I don't have the EKG.
So the question is, why did you do an EKG in the first place?
That's exactly the question.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a 12 lead EKG, you're fishing for something. Something's not right. That should not be turfed to BLS.
And that should make your decision whether you go in BLS, right?
One way or the other, there was data collected on the patient, the data needs to accompany the patient to the hospital at the time of turnover, and it needs to be identified with the appropriate information. Name and date of birth at a minimum.
And the problem is, since they don't do a PCR for those, we don't have the names of the providers. All we have is, date and time and location of the
I'm
call.
sure the BLS.
No, there should be a BLS PCR.
A BLS PCR, yes.
So then we can
Well,
at least
shouldn't
get
there
back
be
and go back.
There is, but they don't
But
submit
they don't
it to the
submit it to
hospital.
the agency to receive the patient.
All right.
This isn't funny, because they already volunteered me to go hunt down the 7 agencies that aren't turning into Albany Med.
Well, that's a can of worms.
Apparently, there's 7 agencies that frequently do not turn in
'Cause I'll
PCRs
tell
to
you
Albany Med, and I was told.
If you do a 12 lead EKG, you're pushing for something.
I'm not arguing,
Through the trauma advisory.
but there are agencies now.
Well,
It
there
wasn't
was-
my idea.
It's interesting, you said from the trauma
So
advisory.
you do 12 lead
because
EKG?
that
Oh yeah, they're not having a
committee
heart
met
attack.
This week,
And that's where my name.
And they're having an instant right here.
well,
Non-QI.
that topic was
QA.
brought, the whole topic of PCRs was brought up there. And people from around
I
the
know
table,
agencies that are.
from various EDs and hospitals from around the region, voiced the opinion that the Albany Med people did about the lack of PCRs being available at the time the patient's delivered to the ED. So it's not just an issue that's come up here before, but it's also being talked about at that level.
So the interesting thing that we have brought up is that, and I will name names here, Mohawk's compliance with PCR drop at time of drop-off is excellent. Their PCR prints off as their crew leaves the hospital, it's right there. We still only have 80 to 90% of their PCRs. So we own some of this loss process, because we have paper being generated in order to then ultimately get it into a paper chart that accompanies an electronic chart, which is sort of a mess. One way or the other, there clearly is very poor compliance from a series of agencies that just needs to be fixed. So, any other new business from around the table? Any other old business?
Old business, McClellan ER is officially closed, so one less care.
That's not just old news.
That's closed business.
It's closed business, close of business.
Completely, yeah.
There was no consideration of staying open as urgent care or anything, huh?
There's thoughts of doing that, but right now
Simpler.
it's still, if they do that, it's gonna need renovations, questions who's staffing, so it's all kind of still in limbo.
Yeah, it surprised me. I thought they'd stay open maybe part of the 24-hour day as an urgent care. I didn't think they'd close completely.
Well, we're closing completely for now, but because I think it's not gonna be run by the ER, it does reopen.
Yep.
And it's still all, who's gonna be responsible for what the hours, what they want it to be, it's all. There was even thought of making it into a regional infectious disease center, since you've got a, this is all.
That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, no.
I'd vote yes.
Yeah, that would be
Motion
like
by
the CEO and
Dr.
everyone else is
Moss.
no.
Thank you, Rob. Anything else? All right, what I'd like to do now, and Dr. Mao, my apologies, we don't have a good way to do this outside of the recording system, do we? So what I'd like to do now is just break into a quick executive session after we close the meeting, just briefly discuss a couple of issues that do not need to be shared with the rest of the board.
Make a motion to close?
Thank you. Seconded, all in favor? Excellent.
Could you just give me a topic for the executive session?
Recording off?
Not yet.
Usually it's just a brief topic, so like personnel matter or whatever from there, and then whatever resulted from it if anything happened.
Correspondence.